With those that need refuah shalema after the bombings today. You know, the Rabboni Shalom does something. Everywhere he has everybody in mind. That means the calculation and exact precision of the cheshbon of every single thing in the world. B'ashkacha pratis, as we've said so many times, especially we've mentioned the idea from the Heilige Baal Shem Tov, that when he was sitting with the Talmidim and he saw a leaf come down and fall onto a few blades of grass. The Heilige Baal Shem Tov said to the Talmidim that at the end of the day you have to realize that from the time of the creation of the world, the Rabbeinu Shalom specifically put into the creation of the world that this leaf should fall at this time and fall on those blades of grass at this exact moment. And that's how we live our lives, that everything happens specifically at an exact time and everything's in calculation, which means that when the Rabbeinu Shalom made the gzeira of today's bombings, it was with us in mind as well that we would be affected, that we would have some feeling. And although in some way life has to go on and we have to move on and we have to continue, but in some way it also shouldn't. That we should also have in mind those that need tefillahs, and there's many of them that do need tefillahs. And it's obviously that the Rabbeinu Shalom did something to shake us up and think about something. Just to move on and not think about it and talk about it in the political sense of how it happened and why it happened and how could it happen, is not going to help anyone. But rather spend maybe a few moments understanding why the Rabbeinu Shalom gave us specifically this wake-up call this morning in our lives. What can we do? Rather than what can we not do and what can we discuss just to waste time and endlessly talk about things that are not negaya and can't help anybody. Rather, make an effect by helping something, by helping ourselves, which ultimately helps the world and helps those that need help as well. I want to discuss today, Be'ez Hashem, the limit Torah that we do today should be refuah shalema to those people that need it around the world. B'soy Choli Yisrael. I want to discuss halacha, which is a very negaya halacha. It's halacha which is something which is a little bit unknown, but it's halacha which is negaya, and it's halacha that we have to talk about. It's a negaya to what we said yesterday, and that is going into the sugya. And this is the last show we're going to be discussing on Malabin, which is cleaning and the process of the cleaning of clothing. Is the last idea when a person cleans something is he folds it up. That's what people do. And the shaila is, when you fold something on Shabbos, what's the issa? What is the problem with folding something on Shabbos Kodesh? Anybody can give me an idea? What's the issa of folding something on Shabbos?
Keeping from creasing.
Huh? Keeping it from creasing, which is a problem of? Preparing for after Shabbos. That's nice. Hachana, that could be. What happens if I need it on Shabbos? What if I need it on Shabbos? Still a problem, right? No, preparing for later of Shabbos, that would be okay. Hachana for that Shabbos. Hachana for next Shabbos could be different, right, Asha? So what's the problem with folding on Shabbos? Again, forget about preparing. It's not a problem preparing. I need it for mincha. What's the problem? Ben, any ideas? Well, here we have, Rabbi Say, a simple halacha, right? You look at this one, I'm telling you this, I'm reading this one inside. I don't like normally reading inside, but just because you guys are not going to believe me. Shin Beis Gimel, Mekablin Kainim b'Shabbat, the Mishnah, L'tzoyrech Shabbos, L'lov Shem Boi Bayom. You're only allowed to fold clothing, Kalim in the Shulchan Aruch, and the Gemara obviously refers to clothing, if you're going to wear them on that day, v'davka ba'odom echad, with one person. U'b'chadoshim shadayno iskabzu, or levana ve'ena hachriv. V'emchose echad me'elu tanoim, if you're missing any tanoim, it's asa. It's asa to fold. What's the issa? Anybody? Hello? Psak and Shulchan Aruch is also do something and we have no idea why. It's not the first one. There's many of them, right? No, Rabbi Say, anybody? Ramotcha, no? Oh, gewaldig, Makke b'patish, beautiful. Shkoyach v'motcha. What's Makke b'patish? Makke b'patish is referred to as the final hammer blow of an item that you're finishing something off. You're completing it. Zog the Beis Yosef over here, b'shem Kama Rishonim, the Kol Boy and others, that when I fold something on Shabbos, what am I doing? I'm folding it on the creases, keeping it, like you said, from creasing, which is stopping it from getting ruined, which is keeping the original form. Makke b'patish, a massive chiddush. Because Makke b'patish normally is, if you look at all the examples in the Gemara, there's 16 of them, when you finish an item, the final finishing touch of the item, like the last screw on the stender, or the last painting on the glass clear, whatever it may be that you're doing, when you finish it off, that's makeh b'patish. Where do we find makeh b'patish? By something which is already completed, right? They talk about it by opening the pocket, but with the stitches in your pocket, right? Sometimes when you buy a suit or you buy a jacket, it's stitched up the pocket and you rip it open, that's obviously makeh b'patish. Why? Because now I could use it. Or for example, if you have a band-aid and it's attached to another one, by ripping it off and detaching it from the other one, that would be a problem with makeh b'patish, because now I'm making it usable. Or for example, if you have a toothpick that is stuck, they have these, sometimes like in the middle of a fork or a knife. You ever saw that? Where you can actually pull out a mini toothpick from there. Or for example, if the fork became bent and you cannot use it, or the spoon became bent and you bend it back into shape. Magen Avraham says that before in Shenit Gimel, that avada, that's called the makeh b'patish. These are all cases of makeh b'patish, because I'm finishing it off. Is really with me? Gavaldi. Over here we have a chiddush, and that is I have an item that's fully finished, machala, and I'm folding it, and when I fold it, now I make it, not creased, but it's still usable and it was usable. But according to the Gemara and Shulchan Aruch, unless you have all the conditions, it is going to be asa. Comes along the kolba in the Beis Yosef, right, which is the Tosfos Shabbos, and Aruchas Chaim, and the Madcha, and the Birkei Yosef, and the Yad Yosef, and the Aruch HaShulchan, and others as well. And they say that nowadays it's not negeya. Why is it not negeya? The Shemesh HaMagen also, by the way, right, from Morocco. It also has the same idea, the same spot. It's not negeya. Why is it not negeya? Because, Aaron Dov, very simple. In the days of Chazal, when they folded something, it was professional. It was done in the proper way. Right, Yuri? It was done properly. They used to take a press and they stuck it in. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I remember this. When I was growing up, they had these these pants press in that people used to have in the room. You ever saw that? You saw it, Nochin? No. Really? They used to press it. It was like a machine. You put the pants inside and you pressed it the whole night and it kept it good. Anybody saw this?
We were born after 9/11.
Okay, fine, good. Okay, fine. There was such a thing. Zog the Beis Yosef b'Shemus, he brings a kolboy. In the days of Chazal, that's what cool pressing was. That was folding. Now what's folding? Zevi, what's folding? You take a tallis and you fold it. No, that's not called folding. In fact, Rabbi Berkowitz Shlita told me that he asked Rav Elyashiv exactly this shaila: if you're allowed to fold a tallis after davening. Okay, Rabbi, so you heard it here first. Big chiddush. Rabbi Berkowitz told me that he asked Rav Elyashiv. Rav Elyashiv told me he wants the matter all folding on Shabbos. He says it's not negeya nowadays. That's not the folding Chazal we're talking about. And Memela, there's a mokim to be makel. There's a huge mokim to be makel in folding. However, that being said, if you look, for example, Mefurish in the Oilish Shabbos, in the Menorah Torah, in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the Ben Ish Chai, Chacham Ovadia, and the Chavadat, there's a huge tshuva on this, right? Shevet HaLevi, Rav Ozen's a big tshuva, and Chelik Heisim and Lamed Vav as well, Rav Falken Marcel Yo, the Oz Nidbru, and others. But the minig is to be machmir. And there is definitely what to say that the minig is to be machmir. So according to that, if you don't have the 5 conditions, which are, all of them you need, Tzorich Shabbos, one person, Beged Chodosh, white, and no other choice, because Eino Lehachliv, you can't switch it with anything else. If you haven't got all of those 5 conditions, which is very unlikely that you will, according to many, the minig is to be machmir, that we do not fold in something specific, that you will notice the difference if you don't fold it, because it will become creased. However, there is, says the Shulchan Aruch, a type of folding that's for sure mutter, and that is if you fold it not on its original folds, not on the original creases, like upside down, right, inside out, whatever, something like that. So over here the Mishnah Berurah says that you can actually be makel in this case. Now, say Paskin the Rav Yah, the Madcha, that good to the priest, the Rabbi, the Shulchan Aruch, the Chayodom, Tvei Yisrael, the Aruch HaShulchan, Tosfos Shabbos, Ben Ish Chai, and others as well, that they hold that there's no problem as long as you're folding not on the original creases, then it is okay without any problem whatsoever, without the shaila of hachana. Obviously, achana could be a problem over there, but pashtas, there would be no achana anyway, because I'm folding not on the creases. So, for example, if you want to take the minig ha'olam and fold the tallis not on the creases, you fold it on the opposite side of the creases, or you fold it stam. You fold something stam. If you do that in that case, it's okay. The Mishnah Berurah, by the way, says that if a person who wants to be machmir and not fold anything b'chlal on Shabbos, vaday odif, lashon of the Heilige Chofetz Chaim's Chusn Yugen Alayni, vaday odif. Vaday better, lashon of the article probably. Vaday odif means it's for sure better not to fold bichlal. As those are lashon of the Mishnah Berurah, which is also lashon of Tosfos Shabbos and the Machzor Sheker, Shenoch, Shmir Shabbos also say vaday odif not to do that whatsoever. However, something that doesn't have creases is mutter. So, for example, Simcha, if you take a blanket and you want to fold a blanket on Shabbos Kodesh, right? Or let's say you have a thick sweater and you want to fold it on Shabbos. There are no creases on a sweater. And therefore to fold something that has no pre-existing creases is mutter, according to everyone. Because there are no creases bechlal, and therefore you're not folding it on the original creases. Something with natural creases that you don't do an act of folding. For example, let's say you take your pants, okay, and you want to put them on the back of a chair. Right, in the night when you go to sleep, so in the morning they're not going to get, you're going to slump them down. But you sort of put them on the back of the chair. Now, most pants, suit pants for sure, have natural creases. That it almost goes on itself. You know, you don't have to do it. I'm not talking about when you turn it upside down and you hold on the creases and you put it nicely over the hanger. I'm talking about a case where you slump it over a stand, you slump it over a chair or something like that, and it naturally goes onto the creases. That is mutter. That is not a shaila whatsoever of folding, because it goes automatically on the creases, and therefore there is no problem with that. And the same thing would be that if I hang it on a hook, and on the hook it naturally goes to its creases, then that would not be a problem whatsoever. The same would be putting on a hanger. I'm allowed to hang something on a hanger on Shabbos, even though Lemaisa it stays nice and straight, it stays geschmack. You put the beketcha on the hanger, it's geschmack, it stays till Shabbos morning nicely. There's no problem with that, because I'm not Lemaisa doing an act of folding on the creases specifically, even though it naturally will, fall on its own creases in that case. So they asked the kasha to Rav Ozna, are you allowed to fold a paper on Shabbos? It's very negeya. You're learning on Shabbos Kodesh, and you see Azach Chiddush. Wow, what a chiddush. I'm going to forget this by Motzei Shabbos. I need to write this down in my Chidushei Torah book. What am I going to do? Can I fold over the piece of paper of the Sefer on Shabbos Kodesh or not? So Rabbi Yosef says absolutely not. Why not?
Because you're
Makeh b'patish. What's makeh b'patish? If I can't, maybe. Over here you can say you're ruining the Sefer. Bishlama, by the case of a clothing, you're making it the way it should be. You're putting it back to its original thing. Over here, if I can't, it's a nice Sefer. I'm folding it over. Making a bookmark? There's an issa making a bookmark? You're breaking the letters? No, I hope the letters will not crack, when you fold it over. I mean, a mezuzah maybe, a klaf, whatever, but what's that?
When you fold it over, it's splitting the...
No, generally, if you do it a few times, maybe, like backwards and forwards, but one fold over is not going to do anything to the letter. If it will, by the way, then obviously that will be a problem. If the lettering is cracking or there's very dry ink, I hear. But most Sfarim nowadays are not going to have that. I'm not going to do that. What's that? Wow. Baldik. Very nice. No. Nu Rabbi said, what could it be? So, Talmud Torah. Aaron says it's Talmud Torah. Nu, Talmud Torah Geneged Kulam. Right? Gavaldik. So the Maisa, they asked Rav Ozna the kasha, and Rav Ozna paskin that it's absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's mutter to fold a sefer over when you want to change to do that. So no problem whatsoever over there. So they asked Rav Moshe, what about binyan? What about bainer? That's Rav Moshe the kasha, and Rav Moshe said there is no problem. Debet Sinov also in Ben Moshe's the Zalbazar. Chacham Avadia also brings it down in Yalkut Yosef. Also says there's no problem with doing that whatsoever. The item's going to ask, what's with? What's with? Hello? Baby wipes we always have to ask, but why specifically now? Nu Rabbi said, what's with? Hello? Nu Rabbi say, what's with Achona? You're preparing for after Shabbos Kodesh. What's the answer?
Next Shabbos. For now.
Tully, what do you say? It's Achuna or nicht? Ni Chaim. Chaim Shulam, ni? No, Rabbi say, no, Nuchi, come on. Zev, where are you?
You need to be clean for Shabbos. No, you're not clean for Shabbos. Now you want to be clean for Shabbos.
Wow. So I will tell you one thing when it comes to Achona, by the way. Ruven, this is very good. You got to listen to this. This is a Gavaldik. When it comes to Achona, right, there's a Gemara in Beitza. The Gemara says Beitza should noldu b'yontif. What happens if an egg is born on Yontif? What shaykhis teruchas Achona? So the Gemara says, kovod of kli. You take a kli and you put it over the egg to make sure that it doesn't smash, right? That it doesn't break, so you can have it after. So I affect everyone on their cousins. What's going to be with Achona? You're doing it on Yontif, so you obviously can't have it on Yontif because Beitza Shenol de Yontif is muktzah. This everyone knows. So I want to have it after Yontif. So I'm going to put a kli over it so that it doesn't break, so I can enjoy it after Yontif. Menachem asked the kasha, what's with Achona? How are you allowed to do that? So the answer everybody asks, and this is very simple, and that is Achona is not a problem if you're preventing something from getting damaged. How do I know that? How do I know that? Because I'm allowed to put ice cream in the freezer after I finish with it. Hachona, because I'm doing it for during the week. No, because I'm doing it so it doesn't get ruined. Or something similar to that. Chicken at the end of the meal, I'm allowed to put it in the fridge. Why? Because I'm doing it so it doesn't get ruined. Then maybe the Sefer, I'm doing it because I don't want to lose the Chiddush Torah. So therefore there's no problem over there. But boys, let's just finish off. Straightening a hat. Okay, what happens if the hat becomes smashed? Right, if you wear a regular hat on Shabbos Kodesh, are you allowed? Not one of those don't get crushed in so nicely, you know. What happens? So the answer is, the Maisa, the poskim say, especially if you could use it in that way, there's no problem with re-straightening it, reforming it. There are some poskim, Chacham Ben Tzina Bashaul in Olet Zion, he brings down that if it's smashed ad kedei kach, that you cannot wear it, then it's problematic. But most poskim hold that there is no problem, Rabbi Isai. And straightening out, one second, and therefore there should be no problem. We're doing that as I pass with Moshe, Reb Shlomo Zalman, Reb Eliashiv, and others as well. They talk about a plastic cup. If a plastic cup becomes smashed, I'm allowed to open it up and de-straighten it. Is that mutter or not? That is 100% mutter. There is no problem whatsoever. If you have a shramel and you came out after the rain and you want to put it back in the box, very negay, right? Put it back inside the box. Are you allowed to put it inside the box to make sure that the crown, you have to twist it, that's after it's in. And I'm talking about just to put it in, are you allowed or you're not allowed to do that? So the post can say there is no problem whatsoever to do that, even though you are reshaping sometimes the hairs on the top, that will be okay without any problem whatsoever. If a page becomes bent in a sefer, you're also allowed to re-straighten that, there's not a problem. In Mitzvah Shem Rabbi say tomorrow, brand new halacha, have a wonderful day.